This is the Level 2 Functional Skills Maths paper from Edexcel. It is split into two parts. In the first part, you can't use a calculator, but you can in the second part. Question 1. Answer all questions. Write your answers in the spaces provided. PQRS is a quadrilateral. Quadrilateral means it has four sides. PQT is a straight line. RQV is a straight line. So what does this mean? First of all, PQRS. That is the shape that is formed by PQRS. Then we have PQT is a straight line. So PQT, it is a straight line as you can see. And RQV is also a straight line. So RQV. Write down the value of x. So this is what we need to work out. So what we know is that angles on a straight line equal 180 degrees. So if we have a straight line here, so this angle here and this one, they equal 180 degrees, which is half of the 360. So we're going to use that to get the value for x. We've got this angle Q in here, which with this angle here, both together will make 180 degrees. So what we're going to do is 180 take away 84, which gives us 96. Now we've got this angle Q, which can help us figure out angle X. And as you can see, angle X and angle Q both lie on a straight line, so both of them will be equal to 180 degrees. So we know that Q is equal to 96, so we're going to do 180 take away 96, which gives us 84 degrees. So that's the value for x. You probably have noticed that this other angle that we started with was 84 degrees. So they're both the same. These are called vertically opposite angles. Angle Q, for example, is the same as this one because they again are vertically opposite angles. But we don't need that information. It's something you touch on at GCSE level. Work out the value for y. Which is this angle here. Now we were told earlier that PQRS is a quadrilateral. So it has four sides, just like a square or rectangle, which might be shapes that you're a bit more familiar with. Now, all the angles inside a quadrilateral equal 360 degrees. So that's the same over here. We know that x is 84 degrees. We know this angle here, which is equal to 27. Then we have this one, which is 216. And if we add all these three together and take the answer away from 360, it should give us y. So 84 add 27 add 216. Let's just break it down. So 216 add 84. 6 and 4 is 10, so 0 down and 1 is carried over. 8 and 1 is 9 and the 1 is 10, so 0 down and 1 carried over. 2 and 1 is 3, so that makes 300. So we need to add 27 to that, and that gives us 327. Now, why did I pick 84 and 216 to add here first, rather than go 84 and 27 and then 216? Because I noticed the number bonds, so 6 and 4 makes 10, and then I could quickly work out in my head that this was going to be equal to 300, which would make the next calculation easier. However, feel free to do them in whatever order you like. As long as you do add all three of them, the answer should be the same. So that's 327 for the three angles. We're going to take it away from 360 as we said earlier. So 360 take away 327. So we've got to take away 7 from the 0. That means we're going to have to borrow 1 from the 6 to make it 5, and this becomes 10. So 10 take away 7 leaves me with 3. 5 take away 2 gives me 3. 3 take away 3 gives me 0. So 33 degrees would be the answer here. That's what angle Y is equal to. Pressure sees this advert for an apprenticeship. Apprentice plumber, £5.68 per hour, 37 hours per week. Pressure will be paid for 52 weeks of the year. She estimates that she will have an annual salary of £11,500. Use estimation to check if Precious' estimate is sensible. You must show your working. Since we're going to estimate, that means we're going to need to round these numbers first before we work with them. So it's £5.68 per hour. We can round that to £6. And the 37 hours, we could round that to 40 hours. 52 weeks of the year, that's about 50. So we'll multiply them together. So £6 per hour for 40 hours. We're going to do 40 times 6, or 6 times 40. So 6 times 0 gives us 0. 6 times 4 gives us 24. So £240 per week. But there are, as we said, about 50 weeks in a year. So we're going to multiply this by 50. So 240 times 50. We'll multiply the numbers at the top by 0 first. So 0 times 0 gives us 0. 0 times 4 is 0. 0 times 2 is 0. And then moving down, which means we need to put a 0 first because we're multiplying by 50. By putting the 0 down, now we can just carry on as if this was just a 5. So 5 times 0 gives us 0. 5 times 4 gives us 20. So 0 down and 2 carried over. 5 times 2 is 10 and the 2 is 12. So that gives us 12,000, which which is close enough to £11,500. So in answer to the question, use estimation to check if Precious' estimate is sensible, and I'm going to say yes, and the 12,000. Pounds. Write 8% as the decimal. 8%, as the word suggests, percent means out of 100. So 8 out of 100. Now if you do 8 divided by 100, it's going to give you the answer. But also, percent works pretty much like pence in a pound. So it's like saying 8 pence. How do you write it as an amount with a pound sign in front? You'd write it like this. So that's how we write it as a decimal, 0.08. Dividing 8 by 100 would give you the same answer. Work out square root of 64 times 12 take away 7 in brackets. So, BIDMAS. Do we have any brackets? Yes, we do. So we're going to do brackets first. So we're going to keep the rest the same. Square root of 64 times 12 take away 7 gives me 5. Now, do I have any indices? But here we include roots as well, square roots. So we do, and we're going to do that first. So square root of 64, that is 8. Because 8 times 8 is equal to 64. So square rooting is the opposite of squaring a number. 8 squared gives us 64. Square root of 64 is equal to 8. So 8 now times 5. And the next operation we've got here is multiplication. And it's the last one. So 8 times 5 gives us 40. Work out 4/5 take away 3/8. So 4/5, if I just represent it quickly here, will be something like this with equal slices. My drawing isn't perfect. If I have another circle, same circle basically, same size, and represent 3/8. Let's assume these are pizzas. So what we're talking about is different slices. So what we need to do is to cut the pizza into equal slices so then we can easily take away. Because at the moment I can't just say I took away a slice here and that's it. Or take away 3 slices in there, just like it says here. And I've solved the answer because they are different sizes of slices. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change these numbers. So cut the pizzas into an equal number of slices. What's that number which you can fit 5 into but also 8? That can be 40 because 5 times 8 is 40. So basically we've cut these 5 slices we had here into many more. So to get to 40, as you can imagine, we've cut each and every one of these into 8. So they are really tiny. So we've done that with all of the slices in this pizza. So what have we done? We said 8 smaller slices within each of these big slices. So we multiplied 5 by 8, in other words. So that means now all of these 4 that we had to begin with, they've got more slices in there. They're smaller, but they've got more slices. So think of 8 in here, and 8 in here, and 8 in here, and 8 in here. So 4 times 8, which gives us 32. So in other words, I've multiplied that 4 by 8 as well. What about this other pizza? Because it had 8. This one had 8 to begin with. Now it has 40. So that means I have cut each of those bigger slices into smaller ones, and each of them has now got 5. Right? So there were 3 slices to begin with. These 3 that we highlighted. So 5 and 5 and 5. Now it is 15 smaller slices. As you can see, from 8 we've gone to 40, multiplying by 5, and from 3 we've gone to 15, again multiplying by 5. So now we can easily take away, because the slices are of the same size. So 32 take away 15 gives us 17. 17/40. We're not changing the number of small slices now, so that's why that stays the same. So 17/40 would be the answer. Udity wants to make a shoe tray. The tray will hold rows of shoes. She wants each row to hold 6 pairs of shoes. Udity measures the width of 5 pairs of her shoes. Here are the results in centimeters. So 18.2, 19.7, 19.4, 18.6, 18.9. To find the total width of 6 pairs of shoes, Udity will multiply the median width of these pairs of shoes by 6. Median. The width of the base of the tray will need to be 10% more than the total width of 6 pairs of shoes, and have an extra 3 centimeters at each end of the tray for a frame. Udity draws this diagram of the largest shoe tray she can make with the wood she has. Udity thinks this tray can hold 6 pairs of her shoes in a row. Is she correct? Show why you think this. So, let's just look at the information we have from the beginning again. So she wants the row to hold 6 pairs of shoes, and she's measured the width of 5 pairs of her shoes, and we've got the results. To find the total width of 6 pairs of shoes, Udity will multiply the median width of these pairs of shoes by 6. So we've got to work out the median of the 5 pairs first, and then multiply it by 6. Median is the middle number, so we put them in order and we find the middle number. Let's just do that. So let's start from the smallest to the largest, and the smallest of these is 18.2, Then we have 18.6, 18.9, 19.4, 19.7. Which one is in the middle? 18.9. So we're going to multiply that by 6. So 18.9 times 6. We're going to ignore the decimal point to begin with. So we go 6 times 9. That gives us 54. So we'll put the 4 down and carry over the 5. 6 times 8 gives us 48. And the 5, that gives us 53. So 3 down and 5 carried over. 6 times 1 is 6. And the 5, that gives us 11. Now we can put the decimal point in. How many decimal places, which is how many digits after the decimal point in the first number, 18.9? There is 1. So we can see just the 9 there. There is no decimal point in the second number, which is 6. So in total, there is just 1 decimal place. So that's what we're going to give the final answer. I'm going to put the decimal point here, so there is just 1 decimal place. So 113.4. Now the next bit is the width of the base of the tray will need to be 10% more than the total width of the 6 pairs of shoes and have an extra 3 centimeters at each end of the tray for a frame. So we're going to work out 10% first. So 10% of 113.4. Now to work out 10%, you divide by 10. So 113.4 divided by 10. And the shortcut for that is to move the decimal point 1 place to the left. So this number becomes smaller. It becomes 11.34. So we've got the 10%, which we're going to add on top of the 113.4. So 113.4 add 11.34. So we line up the decimal points. So there is no digit here. I could put a 0. Make any difference if it's after the decimal point and at the end. So we're going to go now 0 and 4 gives us 4, 4 and 3 gives us 7, 3 and 1 is 4, 1 and 1 is 2, and the 1 there. So 124.74 so far. But we're also told that we need to add 3 centimeters at each end of the tray. So that is going to be 6 centimeters in total. So we're going to add 6 to this. Notice where I'm adding the 6 because it's a whole number. It's the units that I'm adding. So I can fill this up with zeros if it makes it easier for me. 4 and 0 is 4, 7 and 0 is 7, 4 and 6 is 10, so 0 down and 1 is carried over. 1 and 2 gives me 3. 1, which is transferred down, so 130.74. And as we've been working with centimeters, this should be centimeters here. Now the question was, Vijay thinks this tray can hold 6 pairs of her shoes in a row. Is she correct? Now let's just check. What's the width of the tray? That is 127 centimeters, which is less than the 130.74. So we're going to say that she's not correct. So I'm going to say no, and then 130.74 centimeters. And this is the end for the first part.